One of the great pleasures of this job is that I get to introduce one political legend after the other. Our next presenter is a political legend in his own right. Doug Bailey was the founder of one of the first big Republican media firms, Bailey Deardorff. He later went on to co-found the Hotline, which has become an absolutely indispensable online political newsletter for the political community. Please welcome Doug Bailey to present the other half of our tag team direct mail award.
Thank you, Whit. The fact is that I wasn't sure I was going to make it today, so I decided last week that I would write out my remarks in the form of a letter. And now that I am here, I have decided that I should read that letter to you. Now, I can warn you that I learned my letter writing skills from some fellow named Craver, so beware. Dear members of the American Association of Political Consultants, you, the AAPC, America, and the world face an immediate emergency of untold human peril. If you do not act now to install Roger Moore Craver into your Hall of Fame, small children will shriek, seals will go hungry, atheists will be defiled, and Armageddon will be upon us. As you read the next 15 pages of this letter, have your checkbook ready. The well-being of all mankind is in your hands. You probably know that the two of us founded the Hotline together. And on his 50th birthday, the Hotline produced a special issue on Craver that included David Letterman's top 10 list of successful Craver Matthews opening direct mail lines. With my advance apologies for offending anyone, here is my favorite. When will all the killings stop? First the Jews, now the whales. The most successful, if you send $50 immediately, we will remove you from our mailing list. I admitted John Deardorff and I never joined the Association of Political Consultants because honestly we felt there was a difference we had with many in our profession. We saw it as a public service, first, and a good business, second. We never worked for anyone we would not have enthusiastically voted for. We made some money, but we followed our heart, not the money. I say all that because that is the story of Roger Craver, because he has always followed his heart. Always. He has disappointed some folks. But because he has always followed his heart, he has, more than any single person I know, been responsible for the creation and success of cause after cause after cause. And because, by the way, he follows his heart, his friendships are legion. Sitting at his table today, almost side by side, he very carefully made sure there were a couple seats between them, Richard Viguerie and Ellie Smeal. That's a friend. His client list is a who's who of the moderate and progressive world: ACLU, Amnesty International, Defenders of Wildlife, Families USA, Greenpeace, the League of Conservation Voters, the League of Women Voters, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the National League of Cities, People for the American Way, Planned Parenthood, Trans Africa, National Audubon Society, National Wildlife Federation, Radio Free Europe, Simon Wiesenthal Center, Smithsonian Institution, Habitat for Humanity, Cousteau Society, Sarah Club, CARE, more and more and more. Did you notice not one is a corporate special interest phony not-profit? Not one. Everyone is a people's movement that he helped, nurtured, kept alive, and served. Oh, he worked for political campaigns too, Ann Richards, Gary Hart, George Mitchell, George McGovern. And let's not forget the presidents. President Mo Udall, President John Anderson, President Ted Kennedy. He always followed his heart. He was always exactly where he thought he should be. And there has been so much more against the corporate-funded special interest NRA. Roger Craver helped create Handgun Control, Inc., now the Brady Campaign. To break the glass ceiling, Roger Craver helped create the National Organization for Women. To break the back of the male-dominated culture, Roger Craver helped create the Fund for a Feminist Majority. To combat the political cynicism and partisanship that still polarize and paralyze this city, Roger Craver helped create Common Cause. He has made and given away a lot of money, but he has never sought the money or the power or the limelight that always has been due him. Just imagine how today's silly cable news world would salivate over being able to put on camera a short white man with a big afro. And Roger, I'm sorry for this crowd. I'm deeply disappointed that you have had your hair cut so that they don't see you the way your good friends know you, with your afro. But he'd rather stay in the background and follow his heart. So it is all the more fitting that the APC honors him today as one of the true giants of American movement politics at its best. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a man who, no matter how large he grows his afro, it can never be as big as his heart. My friend, my leader, Roger Craver.
Thank you all very much. Doug, thank you. I guess it was 45 years ago. In 1966, I came to Washington to do a job for a week and stayed for 45 years. And I want, someone asked this morning at a panel, why do you do it? Are we making any difference? Are we doing anything? I want to just be serious for 3 minutes and then be done. In 1966, when I came to Washington, there were signs along the tidal basin, along the Potomac River, prohibiting swimming because the river was too polluted. For those of you who are women, if you were a college graduate and looking forward to going to work, you couldn't get a credit card unless you had a husband who could get one or a father who would sign for one. Believe it or not, a very popular industry in those days was the airline industry, but if you were a woman and you were overweight, engaged, or married, you were fired. The city was an absolute piece of paralysis. There was a Congress where there were not roll call and open votes. The Congress was controlled by the seniority system. The government was in the hands of the Democratic Party in all branches. The place was paralyzed. a war was raging. Just an absolute mess. But 45 years ago, things are different, not because of me, but because a caring and competent and engaged and activist American people made some changes, and we're at the start of a period in which change is going to occur again by activist people. And some of you in this room will play a very important role, just as Ellie Smeal did in the women's movement, that Fred Wertheimer, as the president for years and years of Common Cause, played in creating accountable and ethical and open government, just like Charlie Orison, who was the first CEO of Handgun Control, now the Brady Campaign, just as George McGovern, who had the guts to stand up and in very clear words, no little round table on a cable TV show, said, "I'm running for president because I will bring the boys home in 90 days. Pretty clear. Morris Dees, who went after the racist and also helped to break up the boys in the back room of the political parties by doing what Richard Viguerie did and run the establishment centralized party and gave citizens a voice. So that's really what we do is all about. And I just want to remind you of the special responsibility, because we've been given this special duty, this special honor to do what we can for our system. My mentor, John Gardner, who was the secretary of what was then HEW and became the founder of Common Cause and many other good things, said it best. People of integrity, by their very existence, rekindle the belief that as a people, we can live above the level of moral squalor. We need that belief because a cynical community is a corrupt community. May all of us pursue this political craft to the best of our ability, and with John Gardner's admonition always front and center in our hearts and minds. Thank you for the honor.
Congratulations, Roger.